Hey guys, it's Amber. So today I thought I would just do a chit chat get ready with me. I'm going to be using this new palette I got in my Pinch Me box. Give you an update on that. And then I also got an eyeliner. This is a little controversial. I went to Walgreens. They did not have a very good selection of cruelty-free products. So I did purchase this from Wet n Wild, although I know there is some banter about them really being cruelty-free because they were caught selling in China. But apparently they say that none of their products have been tested on animals. It's kind of unknown. So anyway, but this does look like a really interesting liner. This is the Skinny Tip Eyeliner Mega Slim from Wet n Wild. And I figured it would be cool to try it out on my hooded eyes because I have really difficult eyes to put eyeliner on anyway. And especially winged eyeliner. It's been a while since I've used that in a look, so I thought I would do that today. Also, I was going to use this palette and go for some of these red rust colors. I will say though that I used this color one day, and although it is very beautiful to swatch, when I started playing with it, trying to put it on my eye, it was kind of like that Bad Batch of Subculture where it was like patchy and it like wouldn't stick. It's like pigmented, but like you can't get the pigment to stick on. And by the time I like blended it, it was just like a light sheer powder blue. It was very disappointing. So if you looked at this palette and thought it looked really amazing because of that blue, I wouldn't suggest it for that. The other ones have been good, but that color is just a dud. I don't know why. So I did get a little bit of stuff to set up my makeup area because, as you know, I've been here for an extended period of time at my mom's, and I brought such a small bit of makeup with me, and this is going to sound really like first world problems, but I miss having my full makeup collection. I sound so spoiled saying that, but it's like, oh, I only have 4 blushes. And I know that the majority of people on earth are lucky to have 1 blush. So, you know, priorities here. But it's still disappointing when you have something and you just don't have access to it. But I did get a little tiny container, actually from Dollar Tree, to organize my makeup. If you guys want to see how I organized my little tiny space super affordably for a really small makeup collection, let me know and I can do that. So I just put some Smashbox Photo Finish Primer on. I'm kind of in between foundations at the moment. So I'm going to use a pump of my Milani Conceal and Perfect and a pump of my CoverGirl Outlast. I could just buy another shade, but I don't like having tons of foundations open at once. And so I just prefer to just mix it. And that's kind of how I do it. And I put my foundation on my sponge, realizing that I didn't get up to wet it. And we're just going to go with it because it's just how my day is going today. At least I have my hair back, so we've got one thing going for us. This past week has been so long because I have been sick, my kids have been sick. It has just been one of those weeks where everyone just takes turns getting the crud, and I know it's that season already, but it's come so fast. Like, how can it already be cold and flu season? I don't know. And it should be a law that moms are not allowed to get sick, because who is here to take care of us? And it also ended up being that, 1, my husband's not here, of course, because he's in Texas. And 2, my mom was out of town and she was going to visit my sister in Virginia, which I was super jealous about because I haven't seen her in an incredibly long time. And I would love to be able to go see her. And I'm so, so, so glad that she got to go. And she had not been there for a long time. So I'm really, really happy that they got to get together. But it meant that I did not have any backup here, which is okay. I did have my brother here and my sister, but I didn't have anyone here at the house. So we were just kind of like, you know, those days where you're like, I'm not going to get out of the house. No one's going to see me. You know, you're just kind of living in your jammies, surviving. It was just kind of one of those weeks. So I just used that e.l.f. Camo Concealer and my Pacifica powder. So my kids just had their first term. And if you don't know, my kids have been doing homeschool through K through 12, which is not a traditional homeschool. It's a public school that is online. And so they had their interms or whatever, the midterms or something. And it was so interesting because I feel like homeschooling your kids and having to study with them for these tests, it's like I'm going back to school. I'm like learning all this all over again. And I realize how much about like history and all these things that I did learn that I've forgotten. And I also remember how much stuff that I don't think about because I don't recall it very much. But once I go through the book, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this. So my kids did their testing and then they had a little bit of a break. Initially, we were planning on going home during this break. But then, since one of my sons is in middle school and one is in elementary, it turned out that their breaks did not coincide together. And after being here for several months, I'm just like realistically thinking, how in the world am I going to pack up all this stuff? I mean, I have had to buy different seasons of clothes. I've had to entertain my kids with things. And, you know, it's just the stuff you acquire grows. And I'm like, how am I going to pack this all up and drive home in 2 days, like over a weekend? It's just not possible. And I think about just going home by myself and not having anyone drive with me. But I know that's like not really probably the safest idea just because I want to stay alert and awake and I want to be as safe as possible. So that means I have to make arrangements for other people to drive with me on my way down. It was my mother-in-law and she has stuff going on in the first few weeks of November. And so it's just all kind of getting to the point where it's getting so complicated because I'm here. I have so much stuff. I have 3 kids. I drove here. And now to get home and have school and have breaks, the next big break that they're going to have is Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving, here it is. I mean, I guess it's not too far from now, but it just seems like it. But I will say though that my youngest son, he has nystagmus and ocular albinism. I haven't really talked about his albinism a lot on my channel before, but I think I have briefly mentioned it. And it makes his eyesight very poor, but it's not something that can be really corrected with glasses. He basically tells me that he can see about 3 to 5 feet and things are blurry. And I'm just like, man, how would that be? I am so blessed to be able to have such good vision. I totally take that for granted. And that's all he knows. Like, all he knows is having that kind of vision. And so it's interesting as he gets older to hear more about it and to understand more of what he sees. But I do think that even with his accommodations in school, he did struggle, I think, to pay attention sometimes just because he couldn't see what was going on. And so it takes so much effort to concentrate that it was just easy to just like put his head down and just not pay attention. And I would get a lot of messages from his teacher saying he's struggling paying attention and this and that. So I just put this shade right here in this corner all over my lid. It's just a light kind of a warm beigey, just a light kind of vanilla shade, I would say. I think I'm going to go into this shade called Turmeric. I think this would be a little fun to play with. So I do think that having me there with him one-on-one really has helped him a lot. His handwriting has improved so much. His reading has improved so much. His spelling has improved so much. It's amazing how many schools, public schools, have just taken spelling out of the curriculum. I remember when my son was in 4th grade, I was talking to his teacher and she was just like, oh, we've just done studies showing that spelling doesn't really help the kids spell any better. Which to me sounds weird. Granted, I'm not a teacher, so if you're a teacher and you understand that concept, please feel free to enlighten me. But I found that once gave him a pre-test and he would go over everything. Okay, I think I'm going to go now into Cafe Arabe? I don't really know. Once I gave him kind of like a pre-test and he kind of got to practice spelling those words, and then we would go through them during the week and give him his final test. He improved so much. And I would practice like with flashcards. I'd have him practice writing them, and I'd also have him practice saying them orally, which I think that helps too. Because sometimes you just can't always visualize it. And sometimes, you know, you're caught off guard and like, how do you spell something? You don't have a piece of paper, you know. So I'm just really happy that he has improved so much in, you know, a fairly short amount of time, just a few months. And I do really contribute that to having that one-on-one. And honestly, I wouldn't be able to afford a tutor for him, so I'd rather give him the one-on-one than to send him to regular school and then pay someone else to give him extra one-on-one. Plus, after 8 hours, what child wants to sit and do more work? Like, their little brains are just so text. I mean, he's 8 years old. He is done. He is so done. I am loving this. This is really pretty. Kind of like a little sunset. Thought it was like a perfect kind of fall look. So when I do like a winged eyeliner, I usually don't like to go too crazy with my eyeshadow because one, it ends up covering a lot of it up, and two, that way if I mess it up, it's easy to fix. Let's keep it real. So I think I'm just going to maybe put a little shimmer on the inner corner here and then go in for the wing. So I'm going to go into this shade right here. Put it right here, kind of just inner corner. And to give it a little more pop, I'll grab my, I haven't used this in a while. This is the Blink Electric Eyes palette. It's a well-loved palette, I'll be honest. I like this really lightest shade just on the tip of my finger. I really like the look of kind of like the matte and then just the really shimmery inner corner. It's really fun. And it's not something I'm going to mess up with my eyeliner usually. So I tested this eyeliner out once and it was really funny because it was just that thing where it just kept growing and growing and I was like, oh, mayday, mayday, mayday. I posted a picture on my Instagram because it was like, okay, when things get out of hand way too fast. All right, I'm scooting in a little bit and I almost forgot to do my eyebrows. I don't know what I was thinking there, but let's do those. And then let's test out this liner. Oh my goodness, it's time for me to pluck my brows again. They are looking scary. How is it that I don't notice until I'm like literally in the middle of filming something? It's all right, I can go up afterwards and clean them up. I'm like a simple brow gal. I do not have this like 15-minute brow routine where other people are like, oh, I have to do my brows off camera, it takes too long. I'm sorry, I do not have 15 minutes in my day. If I have 15 minutes, I'm gonna get some highlight on, get some eyeshadow on, get some lip gloss on. I'm not gonna do 15 minutes of brows. I don't know. All right, time to get serious here. I feel like my child is trying to come in. Mommy's gonna try to do her eyeliner, okay?
Okay. I can watch it.
You're gonna watch me?
Right here.
Okay. Alrighty.
What's right? It's a camera. Mommy. Wow, so pretty.
You think it's pretty? I think so far that went pretty good. Should I try a wing?
Yeah, we.
Yeah, we'll try a wing.
Now put the other one. No, other one. Mommy, other one. Now put that one.
Okay, that's the hard part, is making the match. All right, admittedly, I did have a little bit of a hard time with this liner, but not for the same reasons I had a hard time with the CoverGirl liner. So the reasons why I had a hard time with this is there's plenty of ink and it's actually very wet on the tip, but actually it comes from the shape of the eyeliner itself. If you're someone who only draws with the very tip, you may be okay, but as soon as you start like trying to drag it down, it makes the line thicker. So I found it was making the line thicker, but not even. So if I was only holding it like up and down like this, I'd be fine. But if I was trying to drag it across, then sometimes I'd get these little bobbles that were not very pretty. So I think I'll just have to like learn the correct technique with this. Also, I'm very out of practice because To be honest, I haven't been wearing winged eyeliner for months, so I'm definitely out of practice, and a lot of that is just lack of skill, to be completely honest. But, you know, with winged eyeliner, that's why you always just go for the mysterious one eye look, right? That way it's like, do they match? Nobody knows. So let's see, I'll finish off with a lip color here. I think I'll do this one. This is the Grande Lips. This is just their red. It's kind of a juicy, balmy red. You know what I forgot? Mascara. I got so discombobulated with that whole eyeliner thing that I'm like, what am I missing? I don't know. Have you guys ever done that? Have you ever gotten all ready and like forgotten mascara and left the house and then been like... See how the sunset works with this wing, because it was really easy for me to go back in and touch up where I needed to, and I wasn't worrying about getting a bunch of glitter. And honestly, winged eyeliners isn't my strong suit, so I just keep my looks simpler when I want to do wing. But by using bright colors, I feel like it still gets that pow instead of wearing it with like something really plain and just like bronze. I feel like this red lip gloss kind of went a little pink on my lips too, but the color that I put in the inner corners is also a tad pink, so I think it kind of works well together. I don't know that necessarily matches the red of my shirt, but I think I can make it work. Okay, I think I'm gonna line my bottom waterline. Put a little mascara on the bottom lashes. Alright, considering I had a hard time with the eyeliner, I think the look turned out okay. Anyway, that's everything for today. I will link the information about this palette. This is the Nomad palette from Marrakesh Cosmetics. This is cruelty-free. This is a Moroccan brand, which is really cool. And yeah, that's everything. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!